We're checking it out, doing the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City review. So we start out with Whitney kind of inviting everyone for tubing. Of course, Mary is not able to be reached that day, and her voicemail is not set up. But it's Mary, we love her. Then Lisa picks up her son and Brighton with some Wendy's and some dessert from somewhere else. I don't know. He called the name of the place, but I can't remember where it was. And the son is having problems at school with one of his friends. And Lisa is just like an awesome mom. She's like, why don't we call them over and like squash this beef? And I was like, I like that. Then Jenny and her husband are still pushing the story, and I'm not demeaning or belittling what she's been through, like losing all the kids she claims to have lost. If you've been paying attention, last week her niece came out and was like, she's a liar. The husband doesn't even really take care of the kids. According to the niece, this is all alleged, and that this is basically she's doing this for a storyline. Well, so she's still talking about these kids. They're at an oyster bar and drinking alcohol. I'm like, why are you guys talking about something so serious, so casually? Like, I didn't get that. I'm like, it had a smell of inauthenticity, especially because she kept crying intermittently and the husband never even once consoled her. He just kept going on what he wanted and what his desires were. And I was like, this is odd. Like, he seemed insensitive, and he doesn't come across as insensitive. It just seems like maybe this is a storyline and maybe she was doing him too much compared to what they discussed, but who knows. So she brings up the kids issue. Dewey still is talking about sister wife, saying that in his culture this is not weird, and she cries again saying, you want me to share you with someone else? Well, if it's his culture, like this, I'm hoping this is not the first time he's brought it up, because to bring it up so casually makes no sense, especially they're Catholics. I don't know that Catholics allow, actually, I know that Catholics do not allow multiple wives. That is actually why the Anglican Church was formed, because I think it was one of the kings wanted an extra wife and the Catholic Church frowned on it. So he basically started the Anglican Church to do that. So she's asking, well, have you talked to the church leaders and stuff? And of course he hasn't, because he knows he's full of crap. And she's crying and he's just like staring at her, and he's like, I really want a big family. I feel like this will complete me. And if I remember clearly, they have like 3 kids, right? Like WTF. And he's just like, so she's like, well, maybe it's because we lost the daughter, the stillbirth. I don't know if it was a stillbirth, because it seemed like she was alive for a few minutes. So that would technically not be stillbirth. Stillbirth means that the baby comes out dead. But whatever, the daughter they lost, he has never really looked ahead on. He has never sought out therapy to see if there is something missing. But they kind of leave it as that, where there is inconclusion. But he says he'll consider it. I was like, okay. Seth is in town. He meets Meredith for lunch or dinner at this Italian place. Looked real pretty and real rustic. And he basically, the whole dinner was her asking for help. She feels like everybody comes to her, and he is just like a goofy little kid too. So I can see why no one goes to him for advice in the family. Then we go to Heather throwing a party for her employees, the ones that were pregnant last year. Their kids are 1 year old. I'm not sure how this ties into her business, but I guess she just wanted to throw some kind of event. So she throws a party. Whitney is talking about the dinner she had with Lisa, which kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because at the dinner they kind of were like, well, we're done, right? We're good, we're good. And she agreed to them being good. So for her to kind of take this back and bring it back to the girls, and she brought it back in a way like she's such a liar type of thing. It wasn't like, this is what we discussed, now we're good. It felt very negative. So Jen is like, that's not even Lisa's vibe, like to tell someone to cancel an event. Like, that's not how Lisa will cut you. If she wants to cut you, she cuts you in front of you, not in your back. But Heather says her business is doing great, which is good. You could tell the business is doing great. Everything looks, nicely kept. Then Whitney, let's see. So Angie is also at this party getting drunk as hell, which later on she falls down. And she kind of is intimating that she wants a friendship with Lisa. And basically, I think it was Jen that said, well, Jen or Heather that was like, well, Lisa is done with you, girl. Like, your relationship is never going to be the same. Which I don't blame Lisa, because I feel like Angie is doing this for a storyline. And if you're going to me like this and I'm your real friend for a storyline, then we're not friends. We're just gonna be associates and that's it. We see each other. All right, then let's see. Day of the tubing come. Mary's like, the whole trip was gonna be 2 hours and she wasn't about to be on that stressful movement. So she rents herself a limo and the girls kind of join her. And in the ride, I guess she says one of her Maryisms, and Lisa makes a joke. She's like, I have to Google that. And Mary like loses her mind, like completely. And she's just like, why are you Googling me? Should I Google everything you said? Don't do me like that. Da, da, da. And she's going off on Lisa. We're just like, what happened? But I feel like there's more to it. Maybe they've always like disregarded things Mary says, and it just came out as like, vomit. Like, ooh, don't talk to me like that. Don't do me like that. Don't Google everything I say. What do you mean you're gonna Google me? Like, don't you think I know what I'm talking about? That's what it felt like. It felt like it was something that had been kind of she's been keeping on her mind for a while, and now she just threw up at the mention of Google. But I don't know. It was weird. Then we find out Angie. They took a clip that was not aired earlier of Angie throwing up. I was like, how drunk did you get at a children's party? Like, girl, control yourself. Like, this is your first season. You're gonna have many more. So, not a good look. But yeah, so the whole Mary and Lisa argument, I'm like, I don't know. Then it gets to the destination. Then Lisa pulls Mary aside, like, what the hell happened? Because even I'm still confused. And Mary is like, I'm not beneath you. Don't treat me like I'm beneath you. Is it because I'm black you're Googling me? I was like, huh? As a fellow black woman, I didn't take it as that. Mary is kind of like kooky, like, and that's what's endearing about her. I didn't think, but again, micro and macroaggressions come in different ways. I can't say what Mary is feeling. I'm just saying what it seemed like on TV. Perhaps they cut something out that we missed. I don't know, but Mary was like, don't talk to me in a condescending manner. I'm not beneath you, so don't do that. And they kind of call a truce there. Then while they're talking, Jennie is like popping off, like, let's go, F this, da 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 da, I'm mad, this and that. She's just like going crazy. And Mary's like, girl, don't speak to us like that. What is wrong with you? Stop, use your words. Like, don't you have an extensive vocabulary? Why are you cursing at us? But yeah, she starts freaking out on Mary. Like, you're not my mom. Don't tell me how to act. I was like, don't speak to Mary all crazy. And Mary's like, what is wrong with this person? As we all thought, like, what is wrong with you, babe? Like, you are out of your ever-loving mind right now. And then they get to the tubing spot. I guess everybody's kind of trying to cool down. And Mary realizes she has to drag the tube up to have fun. And she's like, I don't have time for this. And she kind of bows out from the whole from the whole activity. Then they get back to have dinner or lunch, and Lisa and Mary at the table, they call a truce again, just to be like, we're all good. Then Angie tries to bring up the whole, oh, you told the caterers not to cater my event. And Lisa is clearly pissed off. Then Whitney chimes in as well. And at this point, Lisa is like, girl, if you want to say anything to me, you should be sorry because you're saying I lied and I didn't lie. So Whitney's chiming in. I think a few of the other ladies were trying to also chime in. And Lisa loses it, like, stop coming for me. I can't even say the word Google without people reacting to me crazy. Then she tells us apparently her granddad is gay and that she would never, try to destroy something that is pro the LGBTQ community because she understands how difficult it is to live your best life in their community out there in Utah. And she's tearful. Angie goes and hugs her, but it's one of those hugs where, Lisa sees you, Angie, and she's never going to be your best friend. And Whitney has this look of like, they're making up. Like, she really doesn't like Lisa. I don't know what, I do know what Lisa did. Lisa made her feel small the first season, and maybe that's what's still affecting her. But girl, move on, or don't move on. But don't act like you've moved on, and then have like a bitch fit in the background like that. It just, I don't know, girl. Then Jennie tries to ask Mary if they're good. Like, why would we be good? We didn't even talk about what you just did. But Mary's like, yeah, we okay. Like, keep it moving. Then, of course, she doesn't get the reaction I guess she was hoping for Mary. Then she starts talking about the baby again and how this is the anniversary of the loss of the kid and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, girl, I don't know. Like, I feel bad she lost the kid, but I felt like it was kind of like an excuse for the nasty behavior she performed, and she kind of didn't want anyone to come at her as how crazy she sounded towards Mary. And Mary peeps game, and Mary is like, okay, we see each other. Mary doesn't say anything. The other goes like, oh. But Mary just like in her own kind of like just looking at her like, we see each other. I got you. So let's see. Even Lisa, who brought her to the show, is like, why are you sharing this with these people? Like, I don't think Lisa probably thought it was random. It wasn't the place, but I guess she has nothing else going on. So we're going to hear about this miscarriages and this baby that she lost, and her husband wanting a sister wife. That's going to be her storyline the whole time. So that's what it is. And Mary just like, we see each other, bitch. I got you. I know your number now. Anyways, that's it for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you.